Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the last video, we talked about what exactly the KQL console is, how to use different tables to get the data, and how to set the time range. If you haven't seen my first video yet, I will leave the link in the description below. Feel free to check it out before diving into this one. Let's get started. I have logged into Azure portal. Let's check it. Let's try to run any of the table. I'm choosing the Azure activity and yeah, just giving the time range. So if you see here, we are getting the data with the different columns. In the actual scenario, like we mostly don't need these columns. We might need only few of the columns in the output. For that, we actually use an operator called as project. If you add the pipeline symbol and give it some space, you can see like the list of operators that we can use in the KQL. So if I use the operator called as project, and if I give the columns which I required in the output as suppose time generated, color, and properties, and if I try to run it, you can see like I'm getting the output with only these three columns. So which actually narrow down my data, so I can see the what are the fields which I require, and which will help me in the investigation as well as analyzing the data as well. Here there are so many fields, and we cannot add like each and every field that we require. Instead that we can use an operator called as project away. Basically it will actually do opposite to project, which means like which is actually remove the columns which are not required in the output. Suppose if I give the caller and caller IP address, and if I try to run it, if you see, I don't find any columns with the name as caller and caller IP address. So, which is actually useful in a scenario. So, these two will be helpful depends on the specific task that you are going to do, or specific scenario, or specific thing which you are trying to achieve. And also, there are other operators as well. If you see project keep, which is actually do the same thing as project, and project rename, so it is actually used to rename. And this is one of the operator that we can use to get the output as we required. So when coming to the next one, if you see here, we're having so many events, but I just want to have a events for a specific value. Suppose like it might be username, or it might be some IP address, or it might be some severity that we are going to see. Anything like depends on the field only on that particular specific column. So if you see here, okay, so if you see here in the color, I can see like applications which are having the logs, and my accounts which are basically um, having the logs. So if I want to have the data, I can select the particular user from here and I can see the events. But every time I cannot do it right. So what I need to do is like I just want to see the events for this specific user only. For this, we can actually use an operator called as where. And what is the table name here? It is caller. So caller contains, and if I try to run it, let's see, like we are having 366 events only. So originally it was 500 plus, but we are getting 366 only. And let's see like if we are having any different callers. And if you see here, we are getting the events for only the specific user. But if you replace with some, I mean, we are having some other operator as well called as has only. And let's see if we are getting the same data. Yes, we are getting the 366 events only. And here also the caller is same. But if both are doing the same thing, why we required two operators, which means like these hazard contains. So let's see like what exactly the both will do. Suppose if we having a keyword as word equal to sentinel. So if you give it to contains, it will give you the results if that whole word contains that particular keyword that we are using, like sentinel. Suppose here if in this whole word it contains sentinel, then we will get the details. But if we use the hash, this particular hash will check in a way that the whole word is sentinel or not. If it is sentinel, then only it will give the results, or else it will give us the no results. Let's try it now, whether how it will work. Here we are having, so I'm giving it as sentinel and I'm trying to run it. I'm not getting the data. Let's try with the contains, and okay, we are getting it, and it was same 366 events. Same, we are getting the same data with the full name as well. So it was totally depends on the scenarios that you are going through. You can use the different operators. So these are a few of the operators that I showed in this video. In the next video we can see the more operators as well, and we are having the Microsoft provided KQL documentation as well, which you can go through. Anyway, like we are covering most of the things in our videos, but yeah, this is the Microsoft documentation, which is actually totally clean, and you can learn some other operators as well. And I will add this link as well in the description so that you can go and check it out. Yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.